Short exercise 7-5, posting from the sales journal. So in the previous problem, we entered the transactions into this, the sales journal. So the only thing, remember, that goes in the sales journal are sales on account. But we don't need this image because it's also right here. Now, the reason we need to post to the ledger is because what if Fran Jack calls us up and says, I want to pay you off. How much do I owe you? Well, you can't assume that this is the only AR that Fran Jack has with us. So we would need to go to the subledger, also called the subsidiary ledger, technically the accounts receivable subsidiary ledger, and find out how much Fran Jack owes us. But before we can post, what we need to do is total each column of the sales journal. So we're going to add up all these in this column, and we get 4,485. Then we're going to add up all of these, and when we do, we get 3,450. So what this means is we sold merchandise that cost us $34.50. We sold them for $44.85. Not a huge markup. Check our answer. Well done. Requirement 2. The following 4-column accounts in the AR, accounts receivable, subsidiary ledger. No one calls it the subsidiary ledger because it's too many syllables. They call it the AR subledger. Have been open for you. And then if we read carefully here, they have no opening balances for these customers. Then it says, post the transactions to the AR subledger. If a box is not used, leave it empty. Do not select any information and do not enter a 0. Enter the transactions in chronological order in the next available row. So chronological means by date order. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here by date, and we're going to select Fran Jack, because this is the first one, because it happened on June 1st. So Fran Jack owes us, well, first of all, let me find Fran Jack. Here's Fran Jack over here, so the date is June 1st. The posting reference comes from S stands for sales journal, 1 stands for page 1, and we get the page 1 from right here. Now, remember, this is the AR subledger, so we're only posting accounts receivable. So here's accounts receivable. Notice it says it's a debit, and that makes sense. When we sell something, AR is going to be going up with a debit. So we're going to copy and paste this to the debit column. And our new balance, notice there was no previous balance, so the new balance is the same. Then we're going to go back, or we're going to go to the next transaction in the sales journal. It's Ireland franc. So we're going to post this on June 8th. Came from sales journal page 1. And Ireland franc, it's a 2025 debit. Again, no previous balance. So the current balance is the same as this transaction. We can't post these other 2 yet because we have to check our answer. Well done. Then we're going to continue on our sales journal and go down chronologically. So the next one is on the 13th for Jake Thompson. So we're going to find Jake Thompson, the 13th, post reference, also called a posting reference, is sales journal page 1. Jake Thompson owes us $420. No previous balance. If there was a previous balance, there would be a line up here saying previous balance. And then finally on the 28th, we've got Gabe West. So here's Gabe West, 28, post reference, sales journal page 1, 820, 820 because there's no previous balance for Gabe West. Check our answer. Nice work. Now, the following selected 4-column accounts in the general ledger. So this is the general ledger that we're posting for you. So we've got AR, and notice here it says AR, and then there's a semicolon. So that means there's no previous balance in AR. Well, let me continue reading for you. It says, for accounts with a zero balance, make sure to enter 0 in the normal account side. So let's skip to merchandise inventory first. So notice it says merchandise inventory account 118. Balance is 5,000. So prior to us posting anything, we have to put this balance into the merchandise inventory. So which side does the balance go on for inventory? In other words, which side is the positive side? Well, the positive side is debit, since accounts receivable, since inventory is an asset. So I'm going to put 5,000 here. All right, now let's back up to AR. So notice it says AR and the colon. It does not say a balance, semicolon. It does not say balance, so therefore it's a 0 balance. So we have to put the 0 on the plus side, which is also called the normal balance side. Then we're going to continue to work our way. Sales revenue, account 411, does not have a balance. So sales revenue, the plus side is a credit. So I'm putting the 0 there. Cost of goods sold, notice it does not have a balance. So I have to put the 0 balance on the plus side. All right. Now what we're going to do, we're going to post from the sales journal. So now notice this link here. We can click on this and it opens up the sales journal for us. Nice. So we don't have to scroll up and down. However, if this was the test, it's not going to have this link because it gives you the answer to the previous part. So on the test, if this problem is on the test, you're going to have to scroll up here. But to keep everything in the same window, try to keep it in the same window. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to post the totals from left to right. So starting the left, here's my first total. So 44.85 is going to be posted to AR as a debit. So I'm just going to copy and paste 44.85. Here's AR. Now these totals get posted at the end of the month. So I'm going to put June 30th. Posting reference came from the sales journal, page 1. And notice this 44.85 is a debit. So I'm going to post it as a debit. So then I have to update my due balance. The prior balance was 0. We increase it by 44.85, so the new balance is 44.85. All right. So now we need to post this 44.85 to sales revenue as a credit. So 44.85 sales revenue. So remember the totals get posted on the end of the month. And we said it's a credit. So our previous balance for sales revenue was 0. We increased it by 44.85, so the new balance is 44.85. Next, we've got, working our way over, we're going to post 34.50, let me copy that, to cost of goods sold as a debit. So I need to find cost of goods sold, here it is. So on June 30th, the end of the month, posting reference, and COGS, remember, is a debit. So our previous balance was 0. We increased it by 34.50, so our new balance is 34.50. And finally, we need to post this 34.50 to inventory as a credit. Because we sold something, credit, our inventory is going down. So here's our inventory. And it's posted at the end of the month. All totals are posted at the end of the month. Sales journal, it's a credit. So now the previous balance was 5,000. Crediting inventory lowers it. So 5,000 minus 34.50 gives us a new balance of 1,000, 550. Again, I got this new balance by taking 5,000 minus 34.50. Now we can check our answer. Fantastic. Now we have to go back to our sales journal and enter our posting references to let everyone know that we've already posted all these to AR and the totals to the proper account. So now remember, when we post the sales journal, anything to do with AR, I should say when we're posting any journal, anything to do with AR or accounts payable has to be posted at the end of that day. That way, if in case our customer, Fran Jack, calls us and says, how much do I owe you? We can tell Fran Jack how much he or she owes us. I guess Fran is probably a female name. But if we waited till the end of the month to do that, we wouldn't be able to tell Fran how much she owed us. So that's why we always post accounts receivable and accounts payable at the end of every day. Everything else, all these totals are posted at the end of the month. So what we would have done is on June 1st, we would have posted the 1220 to AR. And now notice that here it says, enter X if the column total is not posted. Select a check mark to reflect posting to a subsidiary ledger. So this 1220, I'm going to scroll up to the subledger. We posted that to Fran Jack's account right here. So this is the subledger. So since that was posted to the subledger, we're going to put a check mark. The 2025 was also posted to the AR subledger, so that's a check mark. The 420, notice we've posted that to the AR subledger right here. So that gets a check mark saying that it has been posted to the subledger. And then the same thing with 820. All right. Now, where did we post the 4485 to? Well, we posted it to AR. So let's see what account number AR is. AR's account up here says account 112. But we also posted it to sales revenue, which is account 411. So we're looking for a post reference with 112 and 411. 112, 411, right here. Cost of goods. Okay, so next, where did we post this 3450 to? We posted to COGS. So COGS is account 511. We posted to inventory, which is account 118. So we're looking for a post reference of 511/118. So these post references here and these post references here, remember we do these so that someone doesn't come back and post this 1220 again to Fran Jack. Also, we do it down here so no one goes and posts this 4485. Because so remember, this 112 tells us that this number 4485 has been posted to AR, and the 411 says that the 4485 has been posted to sales revenue. And again, we do this to let us and anyone else know that it has been posted, so don't post it again. Check our answer. Nice work. Requirement 4, balance the total of the customer ending balances in the AR subledger against the AR in the general ledger. So let me go up to the general ledger. In AR, the total is 4485. Now I'm going to scroll up to the AR subledger. The AR subledger is showing us all the amounts due in AR per individual. So all these totals must equal the same as the amount in our AR account. So then what we're going to do down here is we're going to prove it. So first of all, we need to find out the AR balance, and we need to say, is it a debit or credit balance? So let me go up to the ledger, or I can click here. This link will pop up the general ledger for us. Again, it's not going to be on the test, so you will have to scroll up. So according to our general ledger, our AR is 4485. And notice it's a debit. So I'm going to say debit and copy and paste that. So we're done with this. Next, we're going to go to the AR subledger and make sure that the totals, the total balances equals 4485. So I can scroll up to the subledger or I can click here. All right, so how much does Ireland franc owe us? Right here, 2025, copy and paste. How much does Fran Jack, how much does Fran Jack owe us? Right here, 1220. How much does Jake Thompson owe us? Balance is 420. How much does Gabe West owe us? Right here, 820. So now we have to add these four up, and they had better equal the same amount that's in our AR general ledger. And it is. If you add them up, you get 4,485. So the AR account in the general ledger is the control account for the AR subledger. So really, if you went to the ledger, you'd be able to tell your boss, well, customers owe us 4485. But if your boss asked us, well, how much does Jake Thompson owe us? We would go to the subledger, and this is not technically the subledger here. We would go to the subledger and say, Jake Thompson owes us 420. So that's the purpose of the subledger, is just showing the individual amounts. So when a customer calls us and says, if Gabe West calls us and says, I want to pay you off, how much do I owe you? You go to the subledger and you'd say 820. Check our answer, and that's it.